Hey everybody, this is Book Club. My name is Skye. I am a raw vegan, as is everybody here. This is Tony, Kiko, Marabella, Lisa, and Dulce. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Happy to be back.
Yay! So we've been trying to do this monthly, but things have come up, but we're here now. And this book club, we are going to go over, critique, share our thoughts on The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. And how this works is we rotate through the group and people nominate their favorite book. And this was nominated by Tony. So I thought it appropriate that Tony host and share and ask questions. So take it away, Tony.
Thank you. I'm excited for this one, and it's so wonderful to see you all beautiful faces, and welcome everyone that's coming to the live and also the replay. Thank you. Yeah, I love these book clubs because it gives you some sort of because I read a lot anyways, and it's nice to process it in it, and then when you share it, you kind of reinforce what. And I've always I'm always going back, but I think when you share it verbally, I think it really reinforces it. So I'm excited to, share my nuggets on the book because I've read it quite a few times now. I found Kyle Cease maybe about my first juice cleanse? So in 2020, and he was raw vegan, and that's how I found him. I found him because he was talking about raw veganism, and he's doing 2 to 4 hour meditations a day, and how he got connected to his soul, and it called him to raw veganism. And I know his ex-wife, she was raw vegan as well, and still is. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay, this is his own. And he was talking about the ego and the soul expansion. And I was like, just right where I was having this awakening, doing this 40-day juice cleanse. I was going through a breakup. I decided to just clean my life, do a reset. Things got changed, as you know, because of COVID. So I was in this fear. By this time when I did the 40-day juice cleanse, I was in so much fear, and I was worried about money because I was supposed to leave with my ex to another country. We were moving to Mexico or potentially Costa Rica. And it all changed. And when we found it, because every year we were thinking we're going to leave Thailand. We'd been in Thailand at that time 5 years. And we kept meaning to leave, and it never happened. And then we finally got the tickets booked. COVID happened, and it totally changed all my plans. And I was in so much I just wanted to leave. I was ready. I made that decision. It's so interesting, life, isn't it? You make a decision, but life's got something else in store for you. So that relationship that year broke down. COVID happened. Everything changed. I was in so much anxiety, just fear, uncertainty. And I was like, right, I had very little money. I was giving a lot of my money. This was the time when I was doing a lot with the rescue work. I was just doing a little bit of work online, and I was doing a lot with the animals, but that felt cold. I felt right. But I was always, when I look back, I was always guided for some reason. This is why I really love Kyle Cease and his work, and especially this book, because this is about this guidance that we can tap into. So I did the 40-day juice cleanse thinking, I don't know how I'm going to afford it because I spent a lot of money on juices, but I knew my soul needed it. And I went into a lot of connection to my soul, to my heart, and did the long meditations. And that's when I was listening to Kyle Cease and read this book, and everything shifted. So I think along with what I was doing, the meditation, because he was encouraging me and I was doing some guided meditations, doing alone meditations. And I realized money is not safety. Life is what creates safety. And I look back at my trauma, and still it's showing its ugly head right now because I'm going through some uncertainty in my life and my personal life. And it's coming back up, that same fear, that same feeling. And it gives me this feeling of just unease. But when I tap back into my truth, into my heart, and rereading this book again has reignited that truth. And fear does create cortisol in the body, and you feel like in your digestion, and then cravings were coming back. And now, because I'm not using food to suppress, to numb this pain, this is a different level. Like, this is a different experience to what I've felt in the past. So it's given me so much. Rereading something again, you take different things from it. Like, I'm like, wow, I've come a long way in those 5 years, even 5 years, and being raw vegan. I think it's actually 5 years they've been raw vegan, because I started it early 220 after the juice cleanse. But yeah, I was realizing the fear of not enough, because a lot of us, I feel it like I feel it even more. We're going through this really heavy, dense, like old patterns that are resurfacing, because we're going through this amplifier right now. And I know, Marabella, I feel, and it's like all the old crap's coming back up again, of fear of not having enough, money scarcity, nervous system stress. And then I start looking at how I used to react, like overeating, binge eating, cravings. And now I don't have any of that. So I'm right with it. I'm sat with it. And it's not comfortable, but I know it's for my expansion. It's not for ego survival anymore. So I'm working. I've downsized. I used to have a large property. I had a retreat. Downsizing. I focus on contribution. I focus on loving relationships and loving relationships to myself. And this book gave me that already, what I already knew. Just a reminder of more than it is just about money. Money is just energy. And when we tap into that, money just comes as soon as you follow your heart. And I've done that. And I want to give some personal more stories of just doing that. Like that 40-day juice cleanse. I did not know. I was in so much fear, lots of changes, but I just trusted my heart, wanted to cleanse, and wanted to step into more meditation, and just trusting the process. And then I had a wonderful 4 or 5 years setting up my Rawlicious business, having a beautiful expanded relationship. Now there's some changes. We're not together anymore in that partnership, and I'm just trusting now. Okay, this is another chapter. There's another chapter emerging with my business, because now I'm doing group retreats that I've never done before. So I see that it always, when you really trust, and I relax into it, it manifests. I just see it from lots of synchronicities in the past. Just even coming to Thailand with no money, 2 dogs, trusting that this is my call. And slowing down increases clarity. So it'll also reduce your stress. So that's where we'll stop the binge eating, the suppression, and the numbing, the escaping. If we can really simplify and strip down what's not necessary, and that can look different for everybody. But what I like to do is really get down to the simplicity of my food, the way I live my life, my relationships. But I love depth. The depth is different to simplicity. I like the questions we seek of where our soul's going, what we're here for. So one thing I want to end on this is that you're not you are the source, not the bank account. And when you really tap into that, the whole world can look different. Your days, what does your days look like when money's not a worry? When you're not stressing, what do you feel called to doing? So just let that land, just sit there with it. What does my heart, my soul get moved towards? And I look back and that's all I've ever done in following my heart, working with the rescue dogs. I didn't have the money. I just knew that was what I wanted to do. Same with starting a business, being an entrepreneur. We start in with not knowing what's happening, what we're doing, and we're just following and following those breadcrumbs. So where in your life feels expansion, and that's how I move each day. Where can I serve, and how can I expand my heart each day? And that's what gives me a lot of lightness, a lot of love, and tapping back into that truth of my own divinity. I'd like to leave you with that.
That's beautiful. I love how you said, "Where can I serve?" Because I always find that when we're serving others, it brings us into a whole different frequency. And you also mentioned following your heart, which he mentions to be in that love frequency too. He uses different words, but I love how he says to Kyle C says to move out of fear. Like you can't have fear and love at the same time. And when you move into love and you move into appreciation, and same like what you said, when we're serving others, then we're not being fearful. We're coming from that love frequency. And when we're tapped into that, things open for us that we might not see when we're so afraid. We're small and afraid, but when we're giving and loving, then we're noticing more too. So I think that's beautiful that you have a dog rescue. I'm in awe of that, and your animals must bring you such joy as you're taking care of them, rescuing them, all that. I just think that's so beautiful.
Thank you. They help with the nervous system. They really help me bring back to just here. And then when I'm with them, I just often I get a call to just go, okay, I'm going to go on the internet or ring a friend or call someone that needs, that needs some, something value like that will help them, support them. So never feel that what you're sharing isn't helpful, because I had a lot of insecurities with sharing what I'm going through or trying to think I'm going to help. So I was like, I'm not going to help someone. How is this going to help someone? But I hear so many people saying, wow, that's what I just needed to see, to hear. So now I'm just like, if it helped me, it's going to help someone else. So I just share from there. And it feels so good. Like sharing, like even when I'm in the pain and the discomfort, I'm sharing it. I'm going to be even more vulnerable next month. I'm going to be sharing every day some short videos. That's my challenge for next month, of just the pain that's going through the sometimes the ugly self, the ego that comes in, and how I talk to myself, and actually what comes up as a default, but also how then I nurture myself. Yeah, he's really good. I love his. I'm part of his membership group, Kyle's. He's just so raw. He shared so much in his YouTube videos, and I just really resonated. I was like, wow, this really soothes me. It's soothing, and that's when you know when something soothes and feels good. I gravitate towards it. I don't want, if it's something feels off, and if you connect to the body, and the somatic work. If we do the meditation, the breath work, we can really tap into that.
Yeah, Tony, I was jotting down what you were saying, and I give Kyle more credit. No, now that I know you mentioned that he was raw vegan and his ex continues to be raw vegan, I don't know, for some reason I feel I can trust him a little more.
I was
I am definitely biased, but someone who can, because it's not a mainstream thing. It's not an easy diet, right? That it needs a certain kind of commitment to do this kind of diet, and it's great. I feel like I love that piece of information that I didn't discover. And money, you were mentioning also about the money is energy, and I totally agree. I think at some point, I was raised by a family who was very much money, money, money. And to be vulnerable, I want to share that I just went through a very ugly heritage thing, and I thought that I would never have to go through this. And it's very interesting. Like I've learned a lot, like why people go crazy, and it's not just the money, right? It's the heritage. For example, like heritage. I also thought that why people fight so hard so much and they just go through hell. And this book is not about money, but he talks about, like there's a quote from Jim Carrey, saying that everyone should be rich one day, and realize that's not the way to become happy. And I have seen this in my life, in earlier life, and I just focus on what I love doing. And yeah, so I just treat it as money as energy, and even though I just went through and I'm still going through a bit of a very very ugly heritage thing, but I just try to focus that what do I have? Like everything is perfect for me. I have the most beautiful husband that like beyond my wildest dream. I'm rich. I don't need the money. So and yeah, we tend to get caught up that money would resolve things. Money is great. I do think money is great, and we should welcome it and let the universe flow us with abundance of money, because it's just energy, right? So yeah,
It
thanks.
is.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
so much for being vulnerable and sharing.
Aw. I like what you said, Kiko, about the happiness. My absolute favorite line in the entire book was when he said this: "It's not when something happens, I'll be happy. It's when I'm happy, things will happen."
Yes.
That was my absolute favorite line of the whole book. I was like, if that's all I got from this, that's
Yeah.
it. Because yeah, it's like we are always, and I like how he said, like, that's why they named the bank Chase Bank, because it's like you're always chasing money. Like people are chasing it and they're looking for it to be the reason why they become happy, but that's not the point of it. Like money is neutral, it just exists, and people put so much emphasis on it because it's our own thoughts. And I wrote this, I wrote notes down, but it was like, it's so powerful how when you think about it, it's not money that you have the fear of, it's your thoughts about money
Yeah.
that is where the fear happens. Because like I said, money's neutral. It just goes to wherever people are attracting it to. But yeah, when you have that fear and you're chasing it out of fear, and it's just like following a raw diet. Like a lot of people do a raw diet because they're scared of everything else. Instead, it's like, instead of being scared of everything else, just focus on how much you love the raw diet instead of being so in that fear-based. And when we're in fear-based, like Marabella said, like you attract more fear. Like we attract more of what we are putting out. So I love that line. That was like my favorite one. And then when you mentioned like about security, like it's the illusion of security. Like we think it's going to give us that, but we have to be secure in ourselves, and we have to look inward and all that kind of stuff. And when I first started doing, I was a full-time professional photographer for about a decade, and I was working in a natural health industry. I was like a nutritional consultant, shipping, receiving manager, and I quit that job to follow my photography dreams. And then after about a decade of that, I started doing the raw food romance thing, and I wasn't like making a huge amount of money on it, but I always trusted. And I like how you said, like, it's about trust, because it really is. And when I split with my ex and I had to move out on my own for the first time in my whole life, I had to trust. I really had to be like, the universe is going to provide, even though I was like, how am I going to pay this rent? I don't make enough money or whatever. Like I had that kind of fear, but in the same breath, it was like, you acknowledge the fear, like it's there. You're like, okay, what am I going to do? But then you're like, I'm just going to trust it's going to come. And it did. And then when I moved to the United States, the place that me and Nate moved into, our first place, was like way more expensive than when I was in Canada. And I was like, I'm just going to trust. That the universe provided. And it's like every time we make a move or we do something, just like you were mentioning, Tony, like you just trust. And then the universe is just like, okay, here you go, because you release that fear. And you just be happy right now, because that's where, the moment right now is the only moment that exists. So it's like, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting to be happy when we could be happy right now? And then everything just flows. So that was kind of some of my things that I got from it.
Lisa, I'm so happy that you share this, because with this YouTuber and influencers, we tend to think that they make so much money. Because I mean, Lisa, the amount of time, I mean, it's just incredible how much work and love you pour into this raw vegan community. It's just really, every time I'm so impressed with all the work that you have. And, I have been following you for some time, and I remember you were filming, with Nate back in Oregon in a small kitchen. And back then I used to think that she should be getting so much money because you were giving so much great content. You were there all the time. So like people should realize, like, yeah, I mean, if you were to work in a company, you would be making like millions of dollars for all the work that you have put into. So yeah, kudos to Lisa.
Oh, thank you so much. I know I don't think people realize how much work it actually is. I mean, you guys know, but it's like, the average person doesn't realize. They think you're just sitting there and you're sharing what you eat or whatever, but it's like behind the scenes, organizing things, attending the podcasts, filming the videos, editing the videos, making the food, making the recipes, and then building other things. Or for example, like tomorrow I'm going to be on, we're recording a video for a summit that I'm going to be part of. And it's like, there's so many things that happen behind the scenes. And also how many times, like how many messages I reply to every day. Like there's like hundreds of DMs that people don't
That's impressive.
You don't see that kind of stuff. And yeah, like it's a lot of work, but like Tony said, it's you're following your passion. And when you follow your passion and what really resonates with you and that purpose behind why you are here. And I feel like that is my purpose. Like I'm here to inspire people. And it's funny sometimes, like Nate and I will be like, that's all we do. We just inspire people to eat fruits and vegetables. And I'm like, I know it's pretty simple, but it's so powerful and impactful because it can change someone's life. Yeah. So, when you think about it that way, but yeah, and just thinking like, we don't make like millions of dollars, but we make enough to be happy. We make enough to, live a comfortable life and not have to have those worries. But there's always, as an entrepreneur, there's always that like small voice in the back of the head that's like, will this last forever? One day it's going to end or whatever. But, you can't let that voice, overpower you, and just focus one day at a time and just share your knowledge and your inspiration to others. And the universe provides because you are providing.
Yeah. I love what you said about trust and also security. So what I love about this book is I didn't feel like he was talking at me. It was like his words were cracking me open and I just floated through. And I haven't had that experience, and maybe it's the right time for that experience. But what you said, so I've spoken to Tony about this before. So I've been to do something not many people have, and that is I have lost my security. I was homeless. I had lost my family. I was sick. I couldn't access my phone to get money. And the things that all you want is someone to acknowledge you or help you or direct you, especially when you're that sick outdoors. And the thing I always say is it's amazing that in those darkest hours where probably most of my fears, most of my life were built off needing security, more security, money, I need all of this, it makes me secure, is that the universe just kept gifting. People would come up, gentlemen, and just randomly say everything's going to be okay. And I remember they were older gentlemen, they had these big blue eyes, two of them said it. They were European, both of them, outdoors. When I had my phone, but I couldn't push the buttons to access money, and people, and two ladies, I remember their names, walked past and helped me. And those things most people never notice. Like, you might bump into someone, it's just, you're so busy, but my whole world depended on the universe helping me. And I remember about trust is when I discovered in my little apartment that fresh food, I was not sick and I only had disability money, I felt like there was, you could call it a game, but there was new rules. It wasn't about divvying my money or protecting my money. It was about having to trust against all odds, because I was trusting in something greater than I understood. Like when so many doctors and so many hospitals have been spent to get well, I had to just trust myself. And so I would pay for food and the amount would come up because all my money went to rent and food. I knew the food was going to get me well. But I remember so often the bill would come up, all those voices would come in, can you afford this? This is a lot of money. How much money do you have left? This isn't right. And I was like, these are the battles I have to overcome now. It's not like actually that the money's not there. It's your own head. It's your own thoughts. Like the universe, if you choose, you can call it alignment, but I find it's like goodness. If you keep choosing the light, Skye, and the goodness that's for you, the universe will provide. And I'm sitting here, a YouTuber, a health coach, I've done ebooks, I'm connected to ladies all over the world who are raw, but it all starts when I think about how strong I had to be to overcome those voices, because the raw food worked. It was all the chatter in my head. And so this book was I really loved the fact that I felt like in a little boat. I was just listening, and it was just cracking me open in different ways.
I like what Kiko said as well about like, was it Kiko? I've just lost my train of thought there, because it'll come to me. But what I'm trying to say is like when you come to the trust, sometimes it is just taking aligned action anyways, no matter what. I was coming with something a bit more it just left me. I was like, oh, it might come back. But just to give you I was in, like I say, a lot of so the money, it's like, oh, that's what you said, Kiko, about Jim Carrey saying, I wish people would get rich. That was huge for me, because now I'm in a better position than I've ever been in my whole life. Because I said, oh, once I have these investments, I have this in the account, all this, I'll be fine. I'm in like so just to show you, it's true. Like your stuff, even sometimes some people are scared to lose it. Like Lisa's saying then about, oh, but how long will this go? I'm always like, oh my gosh, will this ever end? Like, am I going to lose it? So those that get really rich, they're so frightened of losing it. So it's like we all have our battles. So that's when you realize, wow, it's internal. It's all internal. And if we can really work with our own inner guidance, our own trust, all of that just is noise. So now I see it. I see the patterns. It doesn't make it any easier because they're still lingering. But I acknowledge it and I'm aware of it. But yeah, it's interesting, Skye. But then noticing those little things that we get coming in, the gratitude's huge. That's what Carl shares in his book as well. Just the little small things that we see that people do for us or we do for others. And that's why I like the simplicity of life, coming back down to simplicity, just the basic things, or what we would say is basic. It's not. It's grand things, sitting outside in nature, watching others. And I used to give out angel cards to people and leave them in there.
Oh.
I used to just do random, and I wonder how they would be like, oh, like when I'd go through drive the toll bridges, I'd give them angel cards, or I'd pay for the next person's toll bridge. And I think just little small acts of kindness really goes a long way. Makes you feel good, shows others there are decent people out there. There are beautiful, kind souls out there.
Yeah.
100%. I did want to just say as well, a few things. I think the quote that really stood with me the most is, your focus should be on discovering the vast universe inside of you, cultivating creativity and sharing that with the world. And I feel like that's what I bring it back to. And obviously when I'm standing in a shop and I've been homeless and I'm just getting on my feet, that feels daunting. But each little step I feel has led me where I work harder on what I can gift, because I think I actually get physically sick when I step out of my alignment. Like things have to be in alignment for me. And it's so easy to give when it works for you. Like I know a lot of people, it's not for everybody. A lot of people like, how do you do lives for 2.5 hours? And I'm like, I come away and I feel energized. Like, do I make millions from it? No, but I feel so good. If you can keep building on those feel goods, you create a life. Like I never knew you could feel like this. And I do. It's not like the food is for me obviously the key, and then nature is like plugging in and then doing all the other things. But I do all that so I can express myself and share. but the other thing that, and I don't know exactly how it was said, but I remember him saying, and I've thought about this throughout my life, is would you, to like a famous basketball player is working so hard to become the basketball player and to become the athlete, but is he working towards it because he loves it, or in the end is it because of the fame? Like where, you know, and that's the biggest thing, right? If people do have a lot of money or do have a lot of fame, I kind of feel there's a lot to break away to even know if you still have passion.
Mm-hmm.
I like the perfect day. I always go by what's my ideal day or my ideal. That's how I live. And I look, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it reminds me when I go in fear or things are not feeling so good, I'm like, I've created this perfect day. This, and it's a little,
Yeah.
and it always, like once you've done all the, if sometimes we need that holiday where we just need to reset, reflect, but that can get, just sitting on the beach for so long, when it gets you so far. I know everyone has a calling to contribute, to support others. I believe that in whatever ways that looks. And I think once you find that, when money is not an issue, that's not the drive, that's where your soul will truly, truly expand. And I've lived like that because I've traveled. When I was 19, I did a big soul expansion journey, backpacking. And it was only so long I could backpack and sit on a beach. I was like, okay, what does my heart want to do? What do I love? What do I enjoy doing? And follow that, follow your bliss.
Yeah, I want to hear from, I want to
I
hear
just wanted to say one thing off the back of that, and that is when I healed myself, I thought the only way I'm going to do this is what you're saying, create the perfect day. But I called it like my retreat. So I'd be like, okay, so I can have baths, and not baths, but showers. There's nature outside. I'll get some sunlight. And I feel like now that we're doing our retreat, I'm like, see, that's it. It didn't come, like I wasn't doing that to make money. I was doing that because it healed me. And then if something makes such a life change, it becomes your purpose, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I want to hear from Dulce, but before that, as what Skye was mentioning, in this book, in the beginning, he mentioned about Michael Jordan. Like, imagine he has amnesia, and he forgets that he's a great basketball player, and you want to convince him to get back. And I feel this way all the time when I meet people. I see the potential in that person, and I'm like, hello, you've got so much potential. I'm like, but I know it's your life, but I get so excited that, wow, you've got so much, but you don't see it. You yourself, it's like so deep, deeply, like, it's so close that they can't see themselves. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, do say, I would love to hear what you loved about book.
Well, I have like a lot to share about it, but uh, kind of connecting of what you were saying, it's about the fears or the limiting beliefs that we carry or we're programmed since our birth, or the situation where you grew up. In my case, like in Mexico, my family, well, my dad worked all the time and he provided for everything that we needed. So I didn't struggle with a lack of anything really. He did it all for us, and when I was married, I was living in a very comfortable situation, and I was a housewife and raising my 4 kids, and I never had to worry about those things so much. But then it comes with a happiness, with once the relationship wasn't working anymore, we didn't work it out. Um, and I started with my awakening and all of these things. I just kind of like I trust in God that my well-being, my mental and emotional and everything was first, right? So I decided to, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna trust, and God has my back. And it's ever since, like since that, it's been happening like that, because I moved myself from my country. We came here. I wasn't able to work. Like not I as the way that I got in, it was dependable of my ex husband. Um, but I wasn't dependable of him anymore, right? So I just trust that. Okay, the biggest, like the smallest amount that I started working with, was with my herbs. Like how I'm gonna get my herbs because I need to heal. I need to like it's not that I need to heal, but I started diving into this beautiful world of natural healing. And the first, I remember the first expense that I was dealing with was my herbs. It was monthly, $150. And for me, it was like, oh my God. And then rent and all of those things. And I mean, he was taking care of all the kiddos and all of those things, like their expenses. But I said, it like I'm gonna be responsible of myself from in every situation, economically, wherever. So you have to be thinking about what makes you happy and how to let go. And he was mentioning how we carry the baggage and how we just like falling apart is going to bring you some of these moments where you know that life still has stuff for you in a bigger way. And yeah, I remember that this line where it says that take a second and close your eyes and feel the part. And this is how you can achieve or kind of like go within and feel what you want in your life. How does it feel in your body? How can you visualize? How can you smell it? And just like it will come, kind of manifesting. And just feel the part of you that is just happy to be alive, that is kind of like come to the core of what really excites you and motivates you and just bring you the life. And for me, I started going in service, and I started volunteering with my son in a Montessori school, and just pouring my love and my care, which is one of the biggest things. And as you may think, because I have 4 kids, and I was just like, I want to protect kids, and what is the way that I can do it as of now? So I started volunteering, and it was exhausting at some point. But and then I transitioned to different stuff. But at that moment, that's how I started. And then with friends and families, and I started doing private chefing, and everything that I was needing, I trust that God was gonna be providing. And I'm not lying, but whenever I wanted to go and shop my produce and everything, there was moments where even the cents were the like the specific amount of money that I was carrying. Like exactly. And I'm like, thank you, God. And it was like that. And just knowing and working, or not working, but serving on the way that I felt more passionate about, was the way that I've been doing things ever since. And yeah, it's trusting that that everything is gonna happen for you. And that work, you really have to let go of all these limiting beliefs. And it comes with the diet, it comes with the money, because it's all with all energy. So the illusion of being broke or not have enough, or this victim mindset, like you can reflect it on your health as well. And but it's a process of going within and falling apart. Like it's okay to fall apart. And I think is that the biggest opportunity where you can find what you really are more passionate about. And, and to release the control, because that was one of the biggest things for me, or it is still, for specific situations, to release control. But if we're talking about just money, um, just be with yourself and your emotion, and just realize of the old stories that you're maybe still have. or the relationship that you have with the money, or what you heard when you were growing up, and then uh, like everything, learn more, invest in yourself, and that's the biggest thing that you can do, like educate yourself, and do what you're passionate, like I said. But really, those stories are trying to leave us our mind, and just I think educate yourself in whatever is what is feeling like the call to you. In my case, it's like serving others and helping others, and reverse whatever um, incoherence that our body experience, which is what I have experienced and how I've been investing in myself. I think it's worth it. Like whatever makes you happy, that's where you feel drawn to and inspired to, and kind of like a self discovery of who you are and what excites you the most.
I love that. You were talking about being broke, and I remember one of the exercises he had in there was to imagine being broke, and like actually like imagine it, and not just like think about it, but like put yourself in that situation and feel like, what are your fears, where's the scarcity and all that, and you're like, it can be uncomfortable because you're like, what if I had nothing, what if I lost everything,
Yeah.
what would I do? And when you release that fear, he talks about how in that moment, when you actually release the fear and be like, I would be okay, and confront that, that's when like the creativity and the confidence and all of that grows, because you know you would be okay regardless, which is a hard reality to like imagine. But yeah, that was an interesting
putting
one.
that extra layer on, he says, this extra guilt, the shame, the worry, which is actually all an illusion. You know, it's not just about illusion of money, it's all of illusions in everything. And it's about, he says, lose everything. He actually encourages it, lose everything. And I feel like there's probably all of us have felt that way. We've lost, we feel like we've lost everything. And then you're like, well, it can only be up from here. So let's rebuild. Let's start from scratch. And it's quite exciting. The amount of times I've felt that that's what I've done is actually quite liberating. You know, you're going to be safe. Trust. Yeah, the big theme over this is the trusting is really something we don't like. We want, like Dulce says about the control. We are so controlling freaks at times, you know. I'm leaning more into, because he did a really great talk with Michael Beckwith, and he was talking about there was the era of a law of attraction. It gave us a lot of empowerment, especially back in 2004, I think it was, where I felt a lot of victim, felt like there was lack of opportunities. I didn't know where to go, and it was like expansive for me at that time. That frequency worked for many people. It got us out of that poor me. We can actually create and design our life. And Michael Beckwith talks more about like that's great, but now we've got this control, too much control, like of like, yeah, well, I know I can make it happen. Then you feel like you're missing out if you don't, or you feel like there's always something more you could. That's me. That's the space a lot I'm in. Like I always feel like I'm not living my potential, and now it's about just surrender. Like there's a new frequency, and I feel it at times, not all the time, but many times comes in. It's like I'm not in control here. I am guided, and if you tap into that new energy that would probably many of us don't know or is not comfortable, we will be guided. And you know it with the little synchronicities every day. We get those little glimpses, don't we? We're like, I'm going to go this way today, or you meet somebody, or something happens, or you just these moments. Oh, my Bella, I love you talking. As soon as I say dogs, I'm like, oh my goodness, Schnauzer.
She was scared. It's dark, and she was barking, so I decided to pick her up.
All right,
Starlo.
Oh, I love Schnauzer.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh yeah, he's scared. Huh?
Oh,
So cute.
Now she's not barking.
Oh, she's the center of attention. That's why she's like, I'm up, I'm here. Hi.
Oh, she's lovely. How old is she?
She'll be a year in May
Oh, she's still a
26th.
puppy.
She's still a puppy, yeah.
Oh.
Tony,
I was
I'm
gonna-
wondering what's is there so you have read this book quite a few times, and is there like phrase that you have it keeps you on helping you with your real life experience? I'm just
Oh,
wondering
there's so
specific.
many. There's
I'm
so
sure.
many. I always go, but the quote, you can always measure what you'll lose, but you can't see what you'll gain, has been very significant in my life. Oh my goodness, that's like when something ends, like a relationship, when a client say or something is like, oh, like you feel like, wow, that was so good, or you don't know, there's uncertainty. Just trust that. It's a bit like that once one door closes, another opens, similar to that. But we always measure what we're losing, but what we're going to gain, like if you move cities and it's a little scary, or move countries, but look what you're going to gain, all the new friends, the new connections, all that. So like if you are going through a breakup or you've lost a lot of money, look at what you can create, look at who you're going to meet next, we're not seeing what's possible, and that's scary for many of us. We keep stuck in the familiar, and it's about stepping into the unknown. And that when we do that, when we take risks, when we do things that's a little out of our comfort zone, that's where expansion happens. That's where we really feel like this is it. This is what we were here to do.
I love it. Same phrase could speak differently from each one of us experience, and I love hearing. I think I even enjoy more hearing from you than reading the book itself, because when I read the book myself, it's just limited to my experience.
Yeah.
And when I hear from you guys, like you guys share what you're going through, what you have gone through, and it's more enriching. So I would love to hear everyone's maybe some of their favorite quotes. Lisa?
Sure.
Oh yeah, mine,
Arabella's what? Yeah,
Arabella's
I want to
gotta
go.
go.
Arabella.
I love the parts about when he talks about fear and then tuning into appreciation. And when he did that exercise where we were having to lose everything, I had to so I skipped over that, but then I ended up going back to it because it was so like, oh my gosh, like the carpet was ripped out from under me. It was really scary. But then I kind of breathed into it, and for a second it felt a little bit freeing, like just a little bit freeing. And then I could imagine myself like as a child, like being on a park bench and just like going back to my inner child. And what would I do? I would have to take it moment by moment. And just in my life now, as I feel my life go forward, everything seems to work out. Like Dulce was mentioning, like going to the store and having just enough money to pay for your groceries. And I've done that before, like had a certain amount of cash in my purse, and then that's what it cost at the grocery store. And I feel like everything works out when you're in that frame of mind of appreciation and in following the love vibration. Kind of, he said something similar to that. And it's like living it in appreciation gives you, it just gives you more. It gives you more of that, which what you would want. You're more yourself, which is going to pull that to you, pull good things to you. And that was such a powerful exercise to think about. And then I thought, well, okay, I made it through this exercise. There are things that in my life that I want to accomplish. And so, yeah, go back to that inner child self, be that, like, pretend. I think Skye and I have talked about that before, where you pretend that you are like, when I start really sharing, I'm going to pretend I'm this influencer and go for it and just have fun with it. So I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it because at first I thought it was going to be step by step how to make money, one of those kind of books. And it turns out it's all about freeing ourselves from the fears, and it's about being honest with where we are in the moment. Like if we're going through pain, we acknowledge it, and being truthful with ourselves. I love it. I thought it was a great read.
I'm glad. I knew it. I knew it. Everyone has. I always have that when you see like money, you think, oh,
Yeah.
it's another money. But I said it's not just about money. It's way more than money.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
job on
like
doing
he
that
says about
exercise.
raising your value, right?
Oh yes, raising your value. Yeah.
And that comes with also acknowledging, or what he was saying in one of the chapter, like hoarding the past, like release and rinse and repeat, but with now with a different perspective, and falling in love with that expansion. And but really sometimes it comes along with the self-worth, or those ideas that we can carry, um and then becoming that intention, and give, and just like it comes now with this vibration of unconditional love and all these things that brings you to your higher excitement. And for me it's while I like to set up in my life, is just to like this need of amplifying whatever it is, the love, the wealth, or the health.
Oh, she left.
Oh, she
Sorry.
amplified herself right out of here.
I should have put the do not disturb.
So
Anyway,
Maribel, you felt much lighter after that exercise, on the fear exercise. Maribel, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad I went back to do it again. And because, as I continued reading, he was talking about just being truthful with where you are and not being afraid of it, and just admitting to where you are, what you're feeling. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go back and do that exercise and really like feel the feels. And yeah, that really helped me in going forward in my life, because I feel like we just have this moment right here, right now. And owning our feelings, our emotions in this moment is so powerful. Yeah, sure, I want to be here, but this is where I am. And didn't you say something about and loving it? And I love it. Like, I am here in this moment and I love it. And just like there's such a freedom in that, such a lightness in that. I really enjoyed that.
It was kind of really got me to heal a lot of my binging, because a lot of it comes from scarcity, and not enough is overeating. A lot of it stems from those wounds. So when you are in the moment and you're listening to what's coming up and not using anything to distract, and that's where I got a lot of this, the now, and listening to the feelings. Don't be frightened of your feelings. They're coming up to be seen. It's not to fix. A lot of his work is about not fixing, not doing anything. Actually doing is, because he's even like, when we fast, look how much healing happens in fasting, and that's doing nothing. Imagine when we do nothing with our feelings, just allow them. It's when they say, oh, but if I listen to what's coming up, it's uncomfortable and I'm going to ruminate. Well, no, you're actually, that's a form of you worrying about the feelings, is an added layer of guilt and shame on top of that. If we can really just allow them to come up, and half the time our feelings just come up and we acknowledge, just like Eckhart Tolle would say, they come and you just watch them like clouds. They leave the body. You wouldn't say a child, Oh, well, my family did. Oh, if she's crying, give her some food, give her some ice cream, shut her up, basically. No, they want to hear, like, what's up? What are you feeling? And we've learned to shut our feelings down with food, with addictions. And now this is the work I love with Kyle. It's really, really actually being okay. Yeah, it's okay to feel this way.
Yeah, he talks about the resistance too. So when we have that resistance to our emotions, that's what's bringing, like, if you just admit it, then there's so much freedom within that.
Yeah, that's one of Kiko was saying, like, what are some of your favorite quotes? And that's one of mine was, it's your resistance to something that creates your, it's your resistance to something that creates your fear, not the thing you're afraid of. It's the
Right.
resistance that creates the fear. Yeah, that's a powerful one.
I feel like this raw vegan diet makes it easy to like really tackle and just go straight forward to that problem.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they have hard time, they go binge eating, and usually for binge eating with something that's not good for us, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna treat myself, but that's like not treating yourself, it's damaging yourself. And yeah, for me it was much easier. I'm the kind of person who gets to the problem. I want to see the darkness because I don't want to have like unknown thing hanging around me. So I just want to open that Pandora box and be done with it. But I've seen many people have hard time and just kind of let it sit. But it just gets bigger and bigger, no? If you try to hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suppress it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're raw, you see it. Whereas if you're not, you don't realize. Sometimes you just don't see it. But when you're raw, you see clearly and you feel the feels, and you can even like go to the root of where you felt that, where you picked that up from. Also, I found
100%. So I'm going to just start winding this up because it's been an hour, guys.
no way.
Yeah. Is there anything I was going to say with what Kiko said? We can finish off with who hasn't shared a quote from the book, which, stood out to them. Kiko, do you want to start? What was the quote that stood out to you?
There are quite a few gold nuggets in the book, but there was a part that he talks about accepting. I think I wrote it down. Accepting the, even we might be going through something frustrating, sad, but what if everything is perfect? So just accepting what you're going through is all in the perfection of your whole entire life. And we don't know until we've something that bad that happens right now, it could be something amazing at the end. And when I got sick, because of my sick, struggle with my health, I discovered raw vegan, and I stayed on it because I felt so amazing. So we don't know what you're going through is positive or negative. So just let go of that judgment and accept that what you're going through is just the perfection as your whole life.
I love that.
Beautiful.
Lisa, you shared yours. Do you want to share another?
I sure do. I like to, when it's like the highlighter. You're like, oh, this one I need for later.
so many.
I have two. I have two that I'll share, and then okay. The amount of light you emit is not based on how positively you think. It's about how much of your darkness you can accept, and that's why I like what
Shadow. Yes.
that was so good. And then and then the last one would be life doesn't care about what's in your bank account. Life wants you to grow and learn and connect and love and create and play. Yeah.
Yes, that was mine. Yes. That was
Good.
I have to think about another one.
That too.
Oh, Marabella.
I think I like
you're gone. We lost the quote. And
I thought I was muted, but he says something about we have the exact relationships that we have to help us learn. We have the exact situations we have to help us learn. I like that one. I like those. Those
Yeah.
are good reminders that wherever we are, we're supposed to be here. There's a reason.
There really is.
And it's
Yeah.
so helpful to say that too, like, you know, I'm here, I'm in this place for a reason. This is happening. Show me the like the blessing in this. Show me the blessing in what's happening here.
Yeah, for the expansion.
Yeah, love it.
Dulce.
Okay, I'm gonna share. Can I share two? It's how falling in love with your fears can change the world, and it's kind of connected to that. If you let yourself fall apart, life is still has stuff for you way bigger, and it comes with the unlimited possibilities, right? So
Oh, so good.
And I just want to end with, you'd already shared anyways, but also back to the quote, you can always measure what you'll lose, but you can't see what you'll gain. So when you're referring to food, sometimes when we're shifting to a healthier, going raw, you feel like all the stuff that was familiar, the comfort foods, the stuff you're going, but look at what you're going to gain. So I was always like, well, what can I have? Why I want, like, why is that so good for me? How I'm going to feel this new identity. And that's really about the book, The Illusion of Money, is the illusion of the old identity. Let's come forward with this new identity, this new life, what's going to serve in so many beautiful ways. Let's look at all the goodness, the flavors, the love that's coming from these foods, everything that what raw living foods bring to us. So it's all working out in our favor.
I love that. I say it often in many of my videos. I'm like, we need to sometimes embrace the word no, or like, you know, those negative things that happen to us.
Yeah.
Because when we say no to one thing, that means we're saying yes to something else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have time for Skye's favorite quotes?
Yeah, what is
Yes.
Yeah. I already said mine before. It was kind of in the midst of when I shared, but it's that your focus should be on discovering the vast universe inside of you, cultivating the creativity and sharing that with the world. And I feel like that's like, because a lot of the time we think we're selfish when we do. So when I grew up, is any time I was like, oh, I'm doing this for me, that's for me. It's like, oh, don't be selfish, don't do that, you're just selfish. And it became like a negative trait. So it was a lot of hard work to learn to do the self-care. And in fact, everything that everybody gets from me online is only because I've worked on myself. As in, like, once it comes out of me, I like process it out there. So it really, like, it came true.
Well, happy people, you have a happy, you know, you read about misery breeds misery. Happy, healthy people breeds more happy, healthy people. And it's like, I have to be strong, healthy, not just for clients, for my friends and family, but also the dogs. The dogs feel energy.
Yeah.
You know, unhappy, you know, not feeling so good. They want a nice, beautiful, calm energy. And that's what I think it's good to put work into that, because everyone benefits then.
True. Great.
So much of his book came back into self-love. Like, I feel like the reason I just floated and listened to what he said was because he was just speaking about his just self-love and how it comes and how we can all do better. So for ourselves to find more self-love, right?
Yeah, he said in one interview about who you are and how you should get excited about you. And he was saying, like, we're infinite, creative, powerful beings who can change the consciousness of the planet, which is true.
It is. Hey, that was amazing. Thank you, beautiful souls. And thank you, people in the comments. And I didn't bring them all up. I brought up any comments that were made, but just a lot of people there saying hello and some beautiful compliments. So they found the right video, right?
Yeah. Great.
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
here's something beautiful to finish off with. Love this.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll be back next month. I will post what the book will be. We'll discuss it and we'll share it. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Night.